A call from the darkness echoes. Welcome back to a haunting horror movie journey. The story begins at a storage unit auction. At least 150,000 abandoned storage units are auctioned in the US annually. These sealed rooms are like mystery boxes. If you're lucky, just $100 could turn into millions in profit. Nick is a storage hunter, but unfortunately, his luck has always been terrible. He's even borrowed money from gangs at high interest rates to cover the costs of buying a warehouse. This time, the warehouse manager is introducing warehouse number 36. This customer has never been late in paying his warehouse rent for decades, but has suddenly lost contact in recent months. The manager opened the warehouse door to let everyone take a quick look inside. There appeared to be a high probability of antiques in there. After setting the atmosphere, the auction began. Nick is determined to get warehouse number 36 at all costs. He immediately raised the price from $50 to $250, but he wasn't the only one eyeing the warehouse. In the end, Nick had to empty his wallet and managed to buy warehouse number 36 for $400. Just as he went to pay, the gang leader called.
Did you fucknut? Because I remember telling you not to cross county lines before settling in full.
I haven't.
Huh. So my guy eyes on you was lying?
I'm here to make money, to pay you.
I want my money now, you lying piece of shit.
After hanging up the phone, Nick handed some money to the manager. Turns out these two were in cahoots. The manager pre-selects valuable warehouses. He is responsible for selling the items inside. But the last unit he bought, number 87, was nothing but fakes. He had to sell a gold necklace from the warehouse to break even, hoping this time warehouse number 36 would change his life.
Got my keys?
Before leaving, the administrator decided to show him something. The buyer of warehouse number 36 was very peculiar. This old man in his 80s only ate takeout, yet he'd slaughter hundreds of rabbits daily. Then he'd deliver them to the warehouse right on schedule. One day, while cutting meat, a rabbit's head tumbled to the floor. As he bent down to retrieve it, he suddenly suffered a fatal heart attack. The admin showed Nick the warehouse surveillance footage. The old man would hop exactly like a rabbit, 3 times, before entering. Since this warehouse opened in 1945, he showed up at the same time every day without missing once. When he came out, his bag was empty. Then, the old man would hop like a rabbit 3 times with a satisfied look before leaving.
What do you think it is?
I'll dig around.
Nick couldn't care less about monsters or ghosts inside. Nothing's as scary as the gang's AK-47s anyway. Just as he stepped out of the office, he happened to meet an elderly woman who was also looking for the administrator. It's just that it's not for treasure hunting, but to renew the storage fee to redeem the items stored inside. It turned out that the old lady was the real owner of warehouse number 87, but unfortunately the old lady arrived a bit late. The manager had already legally auctioned this warehouse, but he told her that she can go to Nick and plead with him to buy back the remaining items. The old lady immediately ran out to catch up with Nick because the photos and letters inside were very important to her, and she wanted them back. After all, even if Nick kept them, they wouldn't fetch much money. However, Nick was already very irritable, and faced with the old lady's persistence, he made an outrageous demand.
$1,000, you can have what's left in there.
I make this money in a month cleaning.
Here. This is yours. I bet you can still use it.
Nick ignored the old lady's curses and turned to come in front of storage unit number 36. At this moment, he couldn't wait to find out if the contents inside could earn him a significant profit. However, once he went inside, he found that this warehouse was actually smaller than the others, and there wasn't much stored inside. So Nick immediately went to settle accounts with the manager, but the other party told him that this area of warehouses was built in 1940, and each warehouse has different sizes. Nick is willing to accept the consequences of her gamble and admits defeat. Just as he was about to leave, the manager suddenly said that he should return the remaining items to the old lady.
This lady? She's too good.
The game has rules. You win some, you lose some. Look at me. I did what I had to for this country.
How the fuck do you bring that into every conversation?
I bought that unit fair and square. So fuck you, fuck her, and fuck this guilt trip.
It turns out Nick is a Vietnam War veteran. The war left him deaf in his left ear and turned him into an extremely arrogant racist. He didn't refuse to help the old lady, he simply discriminated against this Mexican immigrant. Nick returned to storage unit number 36 to continue sorting through the items inside. To his surprise, he actually found some valuable items. First was a candlestick that looked like it was made of gold, judging by the material. Then he discovered a photo album filled with pictures of Nazi soldiers. Antique dealers might pay top dollar for something like that. Finally, in the deepest part of the warehouse, Nick discovered several strange items: a circle woven from wool, 2 intricately carved antique chairs, and a round table with a pentagram painted on it. He quickly gathered these items, thinking that selling just one might be enough to clear his debt. But he just loaded everything onto the car.
$12K tomorrow.
You made your fucking point.
Now I made my point.
Not only did Nick get a good beating, he also had to spend extra money to fix the car. What an unlucky day. Just then, he noticed the old lady still waiting outside his door. Nick chased her away, then go inside to treat the wound. Seeing how pathetic Nick looked, the administrator couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for him. So he recommended going to an antique shop where the owner offered a higher price. Nick patched up his car window with some tape and rushed straight to the antique shop. The owner carefully examined what Nick brought in. The candlestick is gold, but the material is crude, and the craftsmanship is poor. Therefore, it couldn't be sold at a high price. However, she really liked the round table.
It's a seance table.
Like Ouija board seance?
A bit more serious than that.
Mistress gently caresses the patterns on top. These are all purely hand-carved. Suddenly, she accidentally triggered a hidden mechanism, opening a secret compartment in the round table, containing 3 ancient books. They seem quite valuable, Nick mutters. This is not Mistress's area of expertise, but one of she-friends definitely knows. However, compared to this, Nick is more curious about the woven wreath. Mistress suddenly showed a strange smile and told him to lean in and take a sniff.
Can you guess the material?
Wool.
Human hair. Smell?
Yeah, no thanks.
I'll go call my guy about the books.
Just then, an antique appraiser entered the store. He was definitely an expert. With just one look, he said that this round table is from 19th century Austria and is used for summoning demons. When Nick took out those 3 books, he was so shocked that he couldn't speak. These 3 books are extremely rare, worth at least $10,000. But compared to these, the 4th book would be even more valuable.
How much for all 4?
If placed at the right auction with multiple buyers, in excess of $300,000.
The appraiser told Nick that the 4th book was expensive not because it was rare. The first 3 books taught how to summon demons, but the 4th one explained how to seal them away. Normally, when the transaction between a human and a demon ends, the book will burn itself to ashes. There is only one exception. When the demon is betrayed and does not receive its reward, it will be trapped in the mortal world.
If we find the missing 4th volume, I will write you a check for $300,000.
The moment Nick heard, he said, "Well, what are we waiting for? Immediately lead the appraiser to warehouse number 36. If they really found the 4th book, he could not only clear all his debts but completely turn his life around." During the journey, the appraiser revealed some hidden secrets. He knows a bit about the original owner of warehouse number 36. The old man made steel in Europe, amassed a fortune. After WE2, the whole family moved to America. He specialized in tungsten core armor-piercing shells, but sold all of them to Germany. Nick had seen those photographs in the warehouse, so he knew the old man was not a good person. If the necromancy really works, then the origin of the $10,000 in his account has also been solved.
And he invoked an entity, offered it a vessel to occupy, to possess his sister. Dottie Volmar, I believe, was her name.
Nick heard nothing more. The moment the appraiser mentioned the number 300,000, his mind had already flown away. Before entering the warehouse, the appraiser asked him to light a candle. This candle holder is made from special materials. Its fire will burn away any evil intentions.
No offense, but shut the fuck up.
Once inside the warehouse, Nick frantically began searching everywhere. The room was still full of items, but he tossed them all onto the car and threw them out. Nothing mattered more than that book right now. Yet even after clearing out most of the stuff, he still couldn't find it. Right then,
It's hollow. You heard that?
I knew these fucking measurements were off.
Nick pushed the furniture out of the way, revealing a hidden door behind the wall. He jimmied the lock open and immediately opened the door.
Oh, what is that fucking smell?
In my field, we call it effluvia.
Oh, man.
As he spoke, the appraiser lit the candle in his hand. Before entering, he specifically warned Nick not to touch anything and not to speak, in case there was anything supernatural inside. Whatever you do, don't look directly at him.
I'm pretty sure that's 2 pieces of advice, and you don't know shit about me. So fuck off.
The examiner held up the guiding light ahead. The two cautiously navigate through the pitch-black corridor, where Jesus statues hang eerily all around them. Pages ripped from the Bible are plastered across the walls, seemingly creating some kind of protective barrier. When they reached the end of the aisle, the examiner gasped in shock as he saw a figure lying on the floor. This must be the missing Dottie Walmart, with the summoned demon now trapped inside she.
There it is.
Do not cross that line.
Fuck this, I'm going for the book.
No! Stop! Don't!
As Nick destroyed the magic array, the pentagram in the center began to glow intensely, but his eyes were fixed only on that $300,000 magic book. Giant tentacles suddenly burst out from their sheaths. Seeing this, Nick quickly hid behind the appraiser. He gasped. Without the protection of the candlestick, the demon wrapped its tentacles around the appraiser and swallowed him whole. The fourth book in Nick's hand was also completely burned. He panicked and turned around to run away from the warehouse, but the demon did not disappear after completing the transaction. Instead, it pursued him. Nick frantically took a detour toward the exit, only to find the door already closed. The demon's roars grew closer, and at that moment, a figure appeared outside the door. It was the old lady. Nick screamed and begged the old lady to unlock and release him. The old lady seemed to understand, but under Nick's astonished gaze, the old woman hung the broken lock on the door, looked straight at him, and slowly disappeared. Seeing that escape was hopeless, Nick wanted to find a warehouse to hide in, but the demon had already caught up. At this point, it is necessary to add some details. First of all, the protagonist's actions were not just plot-induced stupidity. The appraiser warned him repeatedly not to touch anything, but he still destroyed the magic circle. This was partly driven by greed. Nick deliberately chose to ignore these serious warnings for the substantial $300,000 payoff that was promised to him. But remember, as mentioned earlier, he lost hearing in his left ear during the Vietnam War, and the examiner whispered all these warnings into his left ear, so he probably didn't hear them. Not only the main character, this appraiser also has a 180-degree change from beginning to end. He clearly knows the demon's summoning ritual inside and out, even understanding how to use the artifacts. When the demon was first awakened, the candlestick clearly blocked some kind of attack. However, after Nick turned around, he threw the life-saving candlestick on the ground, which is somewhat contradictory. The examiner had warned them before they entered that if they saw anything supernatural, they should not make eye contact with it. So we can reasonably assume that Nick was probably mentally traumatized the moment he saw the tentacle monster, his sanity dropping to 0. Everything that happened afterward was just an illusion. Taking this theory further, the tentacle monster might not have been summoned by the old man at all. First of all this information is described by the appraiser in words, and cannot be proven to be authentic. Looking at the old man's room, he kept his sister's photo in the most prominent place. Not exactly the behavior of someone who would sacrifice her. Before entering the warehouse, the old man would hop like a rabbit, probably to avoid damaging the magic circle. He practiced in advance because, as an elderly man with limited mobility, he still insisted on delivering meals to his sister on time for decades. Most importantly, the old man didn't look like a rich man selling weapons. He didn't even look like an appraiser who could easily write a check for $300,000. So compared to the old man, the antique shop owner who always had a strange expression on his face, and the appraiser who knew everything, they were more like a demon summoner,